Hi and welcome to WoW Flash. This is a weekly series where we just look at the news in the World of Warcraft or anything related to World of Warcraft from the past week. So the first very welcome piece of news is that the max camera distance increase has been implemented, and you can access this from a console script just as before. They're not adding it into the options for reasons. But you just use the old console macro, but instead of 50 at 2.6, I'm putting it up there for you. So just put that in and we can now zoom out to much more respectable distances, particularly for raiding. We've also had a lot of new content. Would you believe it? New content, blimey. So Demon Hunters are a thing now. So there's a lot of Demon Hunters about. Quite easy to gear up as well because we've also had the invasions coming in. And a lot of people in general just out, and I don't just mean out at the invasion sites, just out in general. In Stormwind or Orgrimmar, there is a summonable boss because where the Doomsayers have already been in the game for an achievement. I did a video on that a couple of weeks ago. But if you talk to them while you can detect demons, and you can do that either from Cursed Vision of Sargeras, which is like a leather helm you can get from Illidan in Black Temple, or if you're a demon hunter using Spectral Sight, or by using an elixir of Detect Demons. Possibly best you go and get some Grom's Blood and other herbs and get an alchemist to make this, because I imagine people are making extortionate amounts of money by selling it on the auction house. Perhaps I should do the same. But anyway, of course, you go around the Doomsayers and you talk to them. If the chances are nothing will happen, but if sometimes they offer you another option and that will summon a Dreadlord in, it's quite unpleasant, and it can heal as well with certain things. But there is a chance of it dropping a pet. I was here being reminded of what makes hunters so great. I've only got a couple of buttons to press and I can get myself out of all sorts of trouble. I was there also, my monk, you see in the party there, Dead Monk, that's also me on my other account. The monk did not last very long, so I just switched to the hunter. They were both there anyway, because what I've been doing to farm the invasions a bit more efficiently, even though they're going to go on for some time, is I was going on both accounts at one time, getting one on the Sandstone Drake, and getting the other one to ride it and just riding out to them. Occasionally dropping one down to do some DPS. But the problem is the PvP server, you just end up dead half the time, especially as melee, because everything's coming in, everyone's AoEing. Not necessarily deliberate to kill people, but sometimes, of course, it is. And there we are to it. The invasion's a really good way of gearing up. Very, very easy to get an almost full set of 700 gear and weapons up to 725. For Demon Hunters, you can purchase with the currency the glaives, which is bind on account, so you can pass that around. The other weapons not only are not bind on account, but they're also not purchasable. So you're having to just be lucky. They're not going to appear from chests very often, so you just have to keep at it. Although my monk ended up with 2 of the weapons quite quickly. I wasn't even going to play the monk. I'm sort of thinking maybe in terms now. And yeah, so with, as I say, it's not just related to invasions. We've got a lot more people out in the world now. So many, in fact, that the gnome attacks have been on the increase. Just in this last week, I have been attacked by gnomes 3 times. One time I was on my own just outside. I was doing, farming a radius, ran out of bag space. I don't even know how that happens anymore. I need to be a bit more severe with stuff in my bags. But ran out to get onto my mount to sell it because I couldn't mount inside the instance. Went AFK for a bit and then just saw my WoW icon flashing up when I was on a website. Usually means someone's whispering me, but it can also mean you're being attacked, and that's indeed what was happening. So I beat those up. And then doing some mythics. We got attacked at one summoning stone. Beat those up. And then this happened. And I took a still of it because I remember thinking, because we were summoning our guys, they were summoning theirs. There's 2 gnomes there, and I was thinking to myself, I really wish they would attack me. I don't feel that I should attack other people. I'm not a fan of what I call non-consensual PvP, which is to say, this idea of world PvP, which I don't even think exists properly in World of Warcraft. It's done far better in other MMOs. But, so I don't like gank people or attempt to or anything like that. But when it's gnomes, I'm sort of secretly pleased when they do. And they didn't disappoint. They summoned their guys in, felt they had a numerical superiority, and then attacked us. Absolutely brilliant. There's one gnome I had to kill twice, and he still came back, and then, got me on the last hit. But, the rest of my posse killed it when we got back. I was so happy. You don't get to see gnome deaths so much. One advantage of being hoarders, of course, you don't have to put up with gnomes in raids. The downside is you don't get to see them die very often unless you're into PvP, I suppose, which I'm not. So it's so long since I've been able to hear gnome death cries. So that cheered me up no end. With invasions, by the way, some people have been complaining a little bit about, only every 4 hours. I mean, it doesn't take that long to farm them for what you get out of them at the moment. I mean, I'm now pretty much done with them. If you've got a lot of characters, of course, they can be non-stop. They can be non-stop. But Blizzard have, again, reiterated, they said this before, the attacks are going to intensify as we get close to Legion. That doesn't just mean more frequent. It means actually intensify. There's going to be new quest lines to do each week up until launch, including at some point it'll take in Ulduar and Karazhan as well. We'll also at some point get the event where, presumably one of the last things, where Dalaran is teleported to the Broken Isles, which, all these things we've sort of seen on the beta so far. So there is more stuff coming. So each week there is new stuff to do. It's not just more of the same. So we can look forward to that. In terms of changes in videos I've been doing, Havoc Demon Hunters, of course, I knew there were several changes Blizzard were muting at the time, which I sort of mentioned in my guides, and they have now changed them. So it's a bit it's ironic. I uploaded the one for post Legion launch, that is, and immediately Blizzard made a change. And it's like, you were just waiting for me, weren't you? So I put annotations in those. Of course, there'll be an addendum video relating to those just before launch. But yeah, so there's a few classes have been getting some changes. There have been a few little bug type things going on as well with roll for monks and fell rush a little bit for demon hunters and stuff like that. Blizzard are looking into that. I think mostly with monks, flying serpent kick and roll is causing some problems where they sometimes just get stuck in motion, which isn't very helpful. And Blizzard have said, so it's a difficult problem, but they are working on that one. So if you're experiencing that, what else did we get? Oh yes, Broken Shore event. Now the Broken Shore event, you don't have to do on every character. It's one of those things. I mean, at the moment you don't have to do it at all, of course, except if you don't do it, you can't see the vendor, the Nether Shard vendor in Orgrimmar or Stormwind. But those vendors do exist in the zones where the invasions take place. But it's more convenient in Orgrimmar, of course. But when Legion launches, of course, it's an essential scenario to do, but you don't have to do it on every character. As long as you've done it on one character, when you go to the NPC to start the whole sequence, you'll have the option of skipping it. So don't feel to yourself, oh, am I going to have to do that scenario every time I start leveling my new alts? Don't. As long as you've done it once, you're okay. When it comes to the Broken Shore, now I've been very curious for a very long time as to exactly what happens because they've kept the cinematics out. In Warlords of Draenor, during the beta, they did put the cinematics in. I think that's because they were leaked anyway and they thought to hell with it. They've managed to keep it under wraps this time, so it's the first time I saw it this week. I had to hide myself away because, of course, in Europe, the stuff comes out a day ahead of North America. So obviously the stuff went up on YouTube. I was steering clear of that. I ended up having to shut myself off most of the internet that day so that I didn't get to see it early. Because although we've been able to do the Broken Shore scenario on the alpha and beta a long time now, but didn't tell you anything new. Because I knew that Vol'jin was going to die and Varian was going to die before the scenario appeared on alpha. For the simple reason is that there were quests that you could do in the alpha relating to the fact that Anduin was now called King Anduin, so that doesn't take a lot of working out. And Sylvanas was referred to as the War Chief. And the Worgen in particular were really, really annoyed at Sylvanas. But the reasons for this were completely unknown. We know from the scenario that right up until the end, Varian and Sylvanas are very, very pally. The Alliance and Horde working together. No idea. We knew that the Alliance were accusing the Horde of some betrayal, but until I saw the cinematic, no idea what that was. I have to say I'm a little disappointed in a couple of things. Obviously, the quality of the cinematic itself is pretty good. They had to sneak a gnome in, unfortunately, but in general terms, it's pretty good. But there are a couple of really things that just go, really? I don't buy Sylvanas's reason for abandoning the fight on a number of issues, but I'm not going to critique it too badly. And Varian, when he sort of jumps off the skyship and mashes that Fell Reaver, it doesn't take long for the Fell Reaver to let go of the gunship, at which point Jaina's on board. Why didn't she just teleport him back onto it? We know she can do that. So there was just a few things where you just sort of thought, not quite fitting, really. So, but you know, it is what it is. As I say, the quality of the cinematic itself is all right. And that's pretty much where we are now. So, as I say, we've got like, as I'm doing this, 18 days, just under 3 weeks until Legion goes live. We are going to be getting new content each week. How long that keeps you depends on, I suppose, on how many characters you do and how quickly you go through it. Because I say, it doesn't take very long to completely gear up a character with the new invasion stuff. So you can get to close to 700 item level. I mean, you can't, it depends what else you've got. Although there are 2 rings on offer from the vendor, you can only get one of them. You can only get, remember, armor and weapons, as well as the item that upgrades the invasion weapons from the chest. You can't, well, put it this way, I have not got a single neck, ring or trinket from those chests, and I have done it with so many characters so many times. I've typically been doing it for the last couple of days with 6 characters every time. I've scaled that back now because most of them are done and I've got the pet, and I'm not bothered about multiple pets. But there's a choice of 2 rings, but you can only wear one of them. You'll notice it says you can only have 1 invasion ring equipped at a time, so you can't fully kit yourself out with those. But you can mostly get a set of 700 gear. Plus, as I say, your weapons can be upgraded to 725 if you get the invasion weapons. But you know, if you're not a demon hunter, the only way to do that is to keep doing the invasions until you're lucky. So that's plenty good enough for leveling in Legion. You know, when you've made a pre-made character with the alpha, and then when beta before character copies came, 680 was what you started off with, which is what demon hunters are when they've finished their starter area, and that's enough. That's pretty good for going through. I'd worry more about people in Legion who are going to level up and suddenly find themselves at like 600 item level as they go to the Broken Isles. I think they're going to struggle more. But so 700, if you're gearing your characters up now, they'll breeze through it. Don't sweat it. And there we go. So hopefully that sort of keeps you. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always. And until next time, I'll see you later.